Welcome back to part 2 of this little mini series where I'm taking you behind the scenes of what a couple of my athletes' race nutrition plans were for Sunny Coast 70.3. And today's episode, I'm joined with ex-boxer Michael Welsh, or Welshy. And his race nutrition is totally different to Jason, who we heard from last week. And I really want you to understand that your race nutrition needs to be perfect and dialed in for you. Not a generic plan you've pulled off the internet, not using products that somebody suggested to you because they get kickbacks for doing so, not trying to just follow blindly what the pros are doing because, they should have it figured out, and also not getting waylaid by your training buddies who have their race nutrition plan sorted for them as well. Now, Michael came to see me way too close to Sunny Coast, but I felt bad for him, so I helped him out. Usually I want to start working with somebody many months before an event because there is a lot we need to do when it comes to racing. But he came to me because his old plan that another practitioner had written for him was just not working for him. It was super complicated, hard to remember, and hard to get down. Like everything was very solid for somebody who's trying to do a sub 4 hour 30 70.3 race. So we completely overhauled his race nutrition. And I wanted him to talk you through what that is today. Welcome to the Triathlon Nutrition Academy podcast, the show designed to serve you up evidence-based sports nutrition advice from the experts. Hi, I'm your host, Taryn, accredited practicing dietitian, advanced sports dietitian, and founder of Dietitian Approved. Listen as I break down the latest evidence to give you practical, easy-to-digest strategies to train hard, recover faster, and perform at your best. You have so much potential, and I want to help you unlock that with the power of nutrition. Let's get into it. All right, welcome to the podcast, Welshy.
Thanks, Taryn. Thanks for having me.
So this is your very first podcasting experience, I understand.
It is. First time.
You're going to be fine, mate. It's all good.
The pressure's on me.
No pressure. So for the listeners, who is Michael Welsh?
Everyone calls me Welshy, just a construction worker who does triathlon for a hobby. So,
how long have you been doing triathlon for?
I started triathlon with a few sprints in 2019 and building my way up to my first 7.3 in Geelong in February.
So only fresh, only a couple of years doing the sport.
Yeah, very fresh.
What were you doing before triathlon?
I was doing a bit of amateur boxing before triathlon and just got a bit hard fully committing to that. I needed a goal and a challenge, so that's why I got into triathlon.
Super fit, but yes, boxing is a whole different kettle of fish to triathlon, isn't it? It's like about making weight and, power to weight and all those sorts of things. It's very different compared to triathlon when we need to be sort of way more aggressive with our fueling, really.
That's so true. And my partner's a boxer and I see how she has to commit, and it's just hard to do both work and box. So, yeah.
Interesting career shift, sporting wise.
Yeah, but I'm actually loving it and I really found my niche and I really want to get better. So,
yeah, awesome. So we're going to talk about your Sunny Coast 70.3 race nutrition plan today, but was this your first Sunny Coast race?
It was, yep.
And second 70.3?
Third. So I've done Geelong in February and then Cairns in June and then now Sunny Coast just done. So,
okay, nice. And do you think that 70.3 distance is where you're at, or are you looking at going a bit longer?
Everyone's been asking me, when are you doing a full one? And I'm just like, just give me a couple more years at 70.3s first and just ease into it. I really want to become a good 70.3 athlete first before I tackle the big one.
Yeah, great plan. Everyone's so forceful into you have to do an Ironman, but honestly, you don't. And if you never want to do an Ironman, that's also okay.
I really want to do one, but for now, this is where I'm at and just want to build myself as a good athlete.
Yeah, good plan. And learn how to eat properly for triathlon if you've got that boxing history, because it's very, very different when it comes to nutrition.
100% it is, yeah.
So how did we end up working together? Why are we talking about your Sunny Coast race plan? How did that whole journey start?
I got told about you by a good friend of ours and my partner's dietitian, Ange Clark. I had a few things that just weren't working for me at that point of time. And so, yeah, I reached out and we started working together in the lead up into Sunny Coast. Didn't have much time, but you nailed it, Taryn, so it was great.
Oh, thanks. So you'd done 270.3s before we started working together. What was the issue or what was going on with your race nutrition before that made you want to get a new 70.3 race nutrition plan?
It was working, but once I got talking to high-level athletes and stuff like that, they asked what I was having, and I was doing a lot of chewing while I was racing, and they were just like, "Whoa, man, that's a lot of chewing." And then that's what made me question what I was doing, and that's what I wanted to really reach out to someone like yourself. Triathlon was their niche, so now really flipped it on its head.
So your plan before was, very complicated. There was a lot of chewing, like every 20 minutes there was something solid, and a very convoluted plan that was quite difficult to follow and calculate, and almost forgetting what you were meant to be doing at each kind of 20-minute interval. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It was eating every 20 minutes. And when you're racing, the last thing you want to think about doing is, crap, I've got to eat. And just keep reminding yourself every 20 minutes instead of just focusing on the job on hand, racing. So,
yeah, and your goal was to go fast, right? What was your goal heading into Sunny Coast 17.3? What were you aiming to achieve time-wise?
My goal was to go under 4:30, sub 4:30. So,
well, you smashed that, mate. You had a cracking day. So let's dive a bit into your race plan for Sunny Coast. Let's go from the beginning to the end. So starting with carb loading first, what was different about this race compared to before, and how did your carb loading plan sort of work for you?
Leading into it, I think I started carb loading on the Friday night and then all day Saturday. It was just simple and easy to follow.
So you're used to following a bit of a plan as a boxer, like it's very kind of structured and controlled in a way because it has to be. And so interesting to then take that behavior and mindset around food into then triathlon fueling. So with boxing, you potentially do things that you don't want to do, but you know you have to because that's what's going to help you achieve what you want to achieve. But with carb loading, I always love to put into people's plans food that they love because it's not easy to carb load. It's actually quite difficult to get the volume of carbohydrate in that you need to actually super compensate your muscle glycogen stores. So it always has to be an element of foods that you like and things that are not potentially dietitian approved outside of carb loading to make that whole process as enjoyable as possible, because it's a little bit of force feeding carbohydrate going in to actually fill our fuel tank properly.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm a very good eater. I'm always happy to eat a bit extra carbs and a few extra lollies here and there. So as you said, you wouldn't really recommend the stuff I was eating if it wasn't carb loading a couple of days before the race, but
yeah,
it was great.
So did you feel different in the carb loading sense for this race, or did it feel the same as before?
No, I just felt really fueled, like with the taper and everything I was doing. I was excited to get out there, yeah.
And this time you had a pre-race meal sort of planned and developed as well. Was that different to what you've done before? And what did you actually do for your pre-race breakfast?
So I had the old faithful, what I have before every long session, my smoothie. If it's not broken, well, I fix it. So, yeah, it worked really well.
And is your pre-race meal smoothie different to just a normal training session smoothie, or do you put the exact same things in there?
Probably a couple little things different, maybe extra banana or something like that. But I had that the last couple of weeks leading into Sunny Coast, so I got used to it.
Yeah, number one rule of racing, right? Never try anything new on race day. Always has to be very well practiced and very well rehearsed. Okay, so that's your carb loading. You've done that before, but this was another opportunity to kind of practice that before event. What about what you did on the bike? So before you did something every 20 minutes, lots of bars, food, sandwiches, like every 20 minutes there was something solid that you had to chew. What did you do for this ride?
This time I just had performance endurance powder, and I think we aim for around 90 grams per hour on the bike. So yeah, that's my fuel on the bike and worked really well.
So your old plan from memory was around 90 grams of carbs as well too. Was that right?
Yeah, that's right. 90 grams of chewing.
Yeah, and you tolerate that really well. It's not something that is foreign to you because you're not a 90-kilo athlete either. But that's the level of fueling that you have done. So it wasn't changing that so much, more the way that it gets in. And that's really important because You don't have to follow what the pros are doing with their nutrition. You don't have to follow what your training mate does with their nutrition. It's about getting a plan that is right for you. And Michael wants to go fast. He doesn't want to slow down undoing wrappers, chewing, trying to breathe, chewing. Like, he wants to head down, stay in aero, not get out of that position for 90 kilometres on the bike. Are you a triathlete sick of fumbling around in the dark with your nutrition? Is nutrition the missing link in helping you reach your goals? And do you want to maximise your training efforts and level up your performance? Of course you do. Come and join me for free at Fuel School. It's a free 3-day live and online nutrition training week. And I've designed it to give you the nutritional edge in 2024 and lay the foundation of your day-to-day fueling and race nutrition. It's on the 14th to the 16th of January, 9 a.m. Brisbane time, so Australian Eastern Standard Time every day, which is 3 p.m. PST, 5 p.m. CST and 6 p.m. EST on the 13th to the 15th of January. To register, head to fuel.school. Yep, www.fuel.school. Whether you're a seasoned triathlete or just starting your nutrition journey, this free event is your opportunity to learn from an advanced sports dietitian and triathlon nutrition specialist and transform the way you approach your nutrition for 2024. Fuel.school, it's free. I'll see you there. How did that feel differently compared to what you've done before?
Yeah, it worked really well. And obviously when you're working hard, you want to drink anyway. So that's what I find worked really well.
So was the bike time faster? Because I know everyone had a fast bike at Sunny Coast. Was it much faster than what you anticipated and what we planned for?
It was. I think the bike was 4K short or thereabouts, but it was a fast day, like especially compared to Geelong or Cairns. The conditions were unreal. So
flat course, freshly laid bitumen or asphalt if you're in the US.
Yeah, it was super fast and super smooth, and yeah, it was a really good day.
So did you get through all of that nutrition then, or did you leave some on the bike?
No, I got through all that. 7.5 scoops was our rough estimate from the bike. So I got through that and then headed in for the run.
So what was your old plan for the run?
My old plan for the run was every 20 minutes it would go from gel, 3 snakes, gel, 3 snakes, that ratio. This time it was a lot different. I just had my flask with my 3 gels in it and just drank water at aid stations. I think I had a little bit of Coke at maybe the second or third aid station, and then I kind of stayed away from that as well and just sipped on water and felt really good on the run. So yeah, this nutrition plan worked really well for me at Sunny Coast. It was good.
What did you end up crossing the finish line at?
I think it was 4:16, 4 hours and 16 minutes.
Yeah, nice. 15 minutes faster than you thought you would go.
Which was a bonus. A lot of hard work went into this race, and I hadn't been working because we just moved to the Gold Coast, so I had a few extra weeks off and just thought I just want to have a race where I wasn't doing 50-hour weeks and just see how I'd go at nailing a race. So I was thankful to have that stress-free of working them hours, and yeah, got to nail one.
So super simple run plan again. Like the fueling was sort of roughly about the same, but it's really hard to guarantee an amount of liquid going down the hatch when you run too, particularly running at the pace that you're running. Like what was your average run pace for that 21 Ks?
I think the average was 4:16 pace for the 21.
Yep, so you're not going slow. Hard to get a cup full of sports drink and then get all of it in your mouth when you're running at that pace.
And you just don't know on the day like how you're going to feel, do you?
Yeah, exactly. And so did you get through all of that flask of your gels throughout the run? So that if you had 3 Performance gels in a flask, that's 90 grams of carbohydrate in a little 115 ml handheld flask thing.
Yeah, I think I nearly finished it. I kind of chucked the flask out coming up the hill the last kilometre, so I pretty much got through it all.
And any gut issues, like any cramping, is anything that slowed you down on the run other than that bloody hill?
Yeah, that hill was a killer. But no, compared to Cairns where I had a really uncomfortable run, this time no gut issues. Yeah, it was really good.
Oh, it's so good to hear. I haven't actually spoken to you after the race, so this is a little bit of like I want to pick your brain as well to see how it went. But is there anything that you would do differently next time? Because I always believe that a race plan is for that event. And yes, you can totally rinse and repeat it, but having a bit of extra thought process go into different courses, different environmental conditions, your fitness levels, different products that you might want to use as well? Like, is there any learnings that you got from this event that you want to take with you into your next 70.3?
Not so much. I reckon this will work for the next kind of race that I want to do because it's a similar course for my next race.
What are you doing next?
I'm going to do Olympic distance in 3 weeks at Robina. And then after that, I'm going to aim for Tweed Enduro.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a similar fast and flat course.
A tide assisted swim, which should give you a bit of an advantage. And yeah, flat, it is pretty hot, that race though. So in terms of race nutrition, this is for everyone, thinking a bit differently about your hydration in an event where it's going to be so much hotter. Just need to bump that up with maybe a bit of extra water on the bike, depending on what your sweat needs are, and thinking about what the plan is on the run too, to make sure that hydration kind of steps up a notch to match a really hot race at Tweed Enduro.
Yep, that'll be good. And we'll probably touch bases before Tweed Enduro. And if we need to change anything leading into it, we will. Okay,
cool. Well, it's nice to hear your take on what your race nutrition is, and very different to Jason, who we spoke to last week. Jason's plan is all liquid on the bike as well because his is a balance issue. But for Michael, it's I want to go fast and I don't want to slow down for any single reason. And I don't want to affect my guts, because that was some of the issues that you had in Cairns earlier on in the year as well. Like, let's not get to gut issues on the run so that you can focus on running without being hindered by feeling a bit awful. And yeah, turns out that really worked because you smashed it. 4:15 or 4:16 or whatever your end time was is pretty good going for a 70.3.
Yeah, thanks, Taryn. I appreciate that. 3rd one done, so just hopefully keep getting better.
What's the goal time? Like, what's the pinnacle? What do you want to achieve?
Hopefully, within the next year or so, it'd be nice getting the top 10, top 5 finishes in my age group. I know they're super fast boys, but I'm doing the work, so hopefully reap the awards.
So stepping up to Ironman, which is kind of the longer distance plan in the future, what do you want to achieve there? Do you have the same sort of big goals around hitting good performances? Do you want to go to Kona? Have you thought that far yet?
I've always said I'd love to do Cairns full Ironman. Just the location there is great. And yeah, the optimum goal would be to hopefully qualify for Kona.
What do you think you could do an Ironman in 9-10 hours? Sub 10?
No idea yet, Taryn. I haven't thought that far.
Okay, sorry. I'm not going to push you. I see so many triathletes get pushed into long course because that's kind of seems to be the natural progression, but there is absolutely no pressure from me to go long. I think just perfecting a 70.3 is an awesome goal without even needing to go to Ironman if you didn't want to.
Everyone's been asking, when are you doing a full? But yeah, as you said, I really want to perfect the 70.3 distance, and I really want to become a good athlete at that distance also. And then hopefully when I'm happy with what I've achieved in the 70.3, move on to the big one.
Yeah, nice. I'm looking forward to that chat when we get there. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast, Michael. Welshy.
No worries at all, Taryn. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me for this episode of the Triathlon Nutrition Academy podcast. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions or want to share with me what you've learnt, email me at podcast@dietitianapproved.com. You can also spread the word by leaving me a review and taking a screenshot of you listening to the show. Don't forget to tag me on social media at dietitian.approved so I can give you a shout out too. If you want to learn more about what we do, head to dietitianapproved.com. And if you want to learn more about the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program, head to dietitianapproved.com/academy. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to helping you smash it in the 4th leg. Nutrition!